Hello, hello. We are going to go ahead and start this series, which is all about the best music lesson plans to bring into your classroom for the beginning of school. So we're thinking into fall, right? And the reason I'm posting this in June is because I have some achieving educators, yes, that apparently watch this channel and wanted some ideas for some lessons to use at the beginning of class, even though, again, it is June. I appreciate you. I applaud you. I am definitely not one of you, but I am going to go ahead and do my best to show you some of my favorite lessons to start the year off with, right? We're thinking of ones that either are getting a great review in for our students or teaching those fundamentals that we're going to need to use for the entire school year, right? So this is one of my favorite lessons to use to go over some of the very beginning solfege, right? Getting that literacy skills up, and ta and titi rhythms, mainly the ta and titi rhythms. So this is really kindergarten, right? Kindergarten, first grade, maybe you're using it as a quick review for second grade, right? But that's what this is going to be for. So again, what you can do is you can take my ideas right here, or you can go ahead and join me. I'm actually hosting a fun little promotion right now. It's called the Soaring Summer of Free, where you can go ahead and you can check out all of my curriculum, my professional development, all of my scarf dances, my challenges, all those kind of things, the moving assessments, all of that for the summer for free. So that link is going to be posted down below, so you can go ahead and check that out here. Or again, you can take these ideas and make something of your own. The main purpose of this is to go over some very, very basic solfege and to get very, very basic rhythms, all right? Just tas and just titis into your students' bodies, into their minds, getting them to do some things independently. So I'm going to show you how I do that with the story Applesauce Day. So it's also going to be very fun and very fall vibes. We love it. We love the fall vibe. We're not going to go through the entire thing. I want to keep this quick and condensed to make sure that you're getting all the information that you need to really use this lesson plan and use it in a way that it's fun and engaging for your students. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing that I always do is I always do a scarf dance. I have some that are already up on my YouTube channel, so you can go ahead and check some out. The reason that I bring scarf dancing into the classroom is, to me, movement is music, movement is learning. So to get my students experiencing the fundamentals, not just me saying the word dynamics, articulation, expecting that to be an experience for them, but to get them up and to get them moving, that is one of my biggest proponents as a music educator. So I have some scarf dances that are already up. Here's one for Mozart's Symphony number 40. We have one for Flight of the Bumblebee. And by the time that this is posted, I'll actually also have something new up. So make sure that you are following along, make sure you're liking, subscribing, all that jazz. Let's go ahead and continue with the lesson plan. Again, first thing I do is I start with a scarf dance to get my students moving and experiencing music. Then the next thing that I would do is I want to go over some basic solfege. So again, this is solfege at its basic. I love to make Google slides that are not only visually stimulating, but I know that because I have a smart board, my students can come up and tap the board, and I use that smart board as classroom candy, right? So if I put this guy up on the board, okay, well, who can tell me what solfege I just put up? And right now I'm using fixed do, but in different lessons I change it up. But if do is C, then who is that going to be? That's going to be me. Me lives on the first line. Okay, so we're going to need me, we're going to need sol, we're going to be do, who lives on his own special line, and we're going to need re on their own special space. All right, so those are the solfege that we're going to need. In the lesson, I also have a couple different ways that I engage students with some solfege at the beginning. You do whatever you want. Maybe it's solfege singing, maybe they're standing tall for me, on their tippy toes for sol, all the way down crouch for me, and a little up for re, whatever it is. Making sure that you're giving the visual and incorporating movement is so important, because they will need this for the song. And the song, very simple. Again, I love using the smartboard as classroom candy, so go ahead, putting them up just like this. My students are going up, they're tapping, and then they sing so, mi, mi, re, do. We're not really using tas and titis at the beginning because there's going to be so much more on that at the end. All right. And then putting in the words, hooray, hooray, it's Applesauce Day, which this is something that, again, can go with the story and be repeated and repeated whenever your students need a movement break. Maybe, again, you're putting the solfege in their body, up on their tippy toes for sol, bend down, flat feet for me, crouching a little low for re, all the way down for do. So fun, so engaging, so simple. All right. And then again, having these little fun little surprises quizzes throughout the Google Slides to me is always helpful to find the student that either needs a little wiggle break just to come up and tap the smartboard, tap when I'm on a projector and they tap my laptop instead. That's what they do then. Click to find our applesauce pot. Here is our applesauce pot. And we're going to need this for our story. So here's that story. I always make sure that I'm either buying this book or I'm renting it from my local library. Please try to do the same thing so that we can support these authors. But if at a pinch, I might use a video that I find on YouTube. What I like to do is I like to mute it and I like to be able to read it. I tell my students it's because I am their teacher and I want to be the one reading to them, is how I always phrase it. All right. It's a wonderful book. It's so simple in its loveliness. And what's great is that anytime that the word applesauce is used, you can go ahead and sing, hooray, hooray, it's applesauce day. Again, either getting your students moving or just doing hand signs. Only takes 4 minutes. But in those 4 minutes, your students will be engaged, because if you tell a child a fact, they'll forget in a day. But if you tell a child a story, they will remember it for life. And again, always putting it through the song all the way through, right? There's also some great words in here: cranking, crank, squish, crickety, squish. All those words you're going to need later on because we can find the rhythms in it. So again, the fall vibes, it's just falling. It's just vibing. It's so wonderful, so engaging, so enticing. But then the fun doesn't stop there, because you can also be doing another movement break through this, grabbing some assessments and giving your students that review on tas and titis. So let's check it out. We're going to make some applesauce together, but first we have to go pick some apples. Find our apple tree steady beats. So this is one that you can either do as a chant or you can do it with pitches. I go up the apple tree. I'm going to be posting how I do this in my classroom, this apple tree movement break on YouTube as well. So make sure you're checking that there. It should be posted by the time that I post this, but we'll have to see. So, but what I love about this is, again, I love those animations. I love using Smartboard as candy. So I go ahead and I add in the steady beats. I go up the apple tree, all the apples fall on me. Apple pudding, apple pie, how many apples should I buy? Again, there's a movement break that goes along with this, so go ahead and check this out, because steady beats are fun, but also getting your students moving to music is so important. All right, next thing that we're going to need is to grab as many apples as you can. For this part, you're going to need some rhythms. So what I do in this is, again, we're just going over tas, we're just going over titis, but they're gonna be up on the smartboard. Now, there's two different ways to do this. One is to make it a really effective movement break, where you go ahead and you print out these apples here. They are blank. So what you can do is you can print them out, throw them in the air. Your students are then able to collect them, write them out, make sure their name is on them. And then that is one of the assessments that you grab. That's one way to do it. Does not have to be the way that everybody does it, right? The other way is that they're just chanting this while you're doing it. All right. So again, always using the smartboard, make sure that you're in slideshow mode so you can put this in. Ta, ta, ti, 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 ta, ti, 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 ta. So fun, so engaging, so easy. But because it's that visual that your students need, trust me, it is so much more engaging for them, and they'll be able to retain this information more easily. All right, so again, you can do that in those two fun ways. There's a bunch of different patterns, so your students will always have a new one to go ahead and try. All right, but then from there, we can do some listen to the patterns and decide what rhythms to use. So for this one, you're going to ask your students to drag the rhythm to the right word, so you will need to be out of slideshow mode so that the dragging function works. So for here, listen to the patterns and decide what rhythms to use. So drag the rhythm to the right word for cutting, right? Cutting, what can we do? Ging. Sure you can do this without me. Crank. And squish. Again, just a different way to look at this that now it gives them another experience. Can they hear it and still be able to put in tas and titis by associating it with a word? It takes this skill, it puts it in a slightly new way. And last but not least, we spent all that time gathering. We spent all the time finding the rhythms for the apples and for the cranky and this and this and this. Well, we got to put them in the pot, right? So you can go ahead and add the apples in. What I like to do is I like to cut out the apples, and especially if I didn't do the movement break where I throw the apples in the air, then what I do instead is I have a big pot that I bring into the classroom. I give each one of my students an apple, and when they see their apple pattern up on the board, they have already written in the rhythms, and they have to come up and either with a partner. So if I give out multiple, especially for students who are less willing to be independent with this, then I make sure to give out multiple. And then what they do is they have to recite the rhythm, again, giving a different experience experience, giving them a little more independence. Can they chant Titi, Titi, ta, ta, and then they get to put their apple in the pot while tapping, so they get to do both. I don't know why this is so fun, but trust me, it is. Your students want to tap the smartboard and they want to put their little paper apples in the pot. I don't know why, but they do. Trust me. Just trust me. Trust me. So easy, so effective, and just another experience that your students will remember. Oh my goodness. If you even what I managed to do last year, it was completely coincidental, but they had applesauce for lunch that day. And the amount of students that I had coming up to me going, oh, did you know we had applesauce after we had the lesson? Did you make it? Did we make it? Oh my gosh, I don't get it, but it was so fun. So fun, so engaging. All right. And last but not least, again, trying to make sure that you're incorporating as many different ways to do this as possible and giving multiple students the option to come up and either drag the rhythm or whatever it is. So now can different students come up and drag the rhythms for TT while also either completing it on big apples, or maybe you're just handing out one worksheet and throughout the entire time. Again, just a way to make sure that you're gathering data on TTs and TAs. Alrighty, so that's really all that I have for this lesson, Applesauce Day. Again, this is really to give your students who need an introduction to some basic solfege and some basic ta and TT rhythms, that fun and engaging introduction, or to give your students that you haven't seen all summer a little review on some of the basics in a way that'll instill the confidence to then grow and grow with you. So just as a reminder, again, I am offering that summer of free, so you can check out not only Applesauce a Day, but also all of my favorite fall time lessons, the Leaf Thief. Oh my goodness, love it. How to Speak Moo. I have a video on how to speak Moo. It's another one that's just, it is so key for the start of the year in order to give your students that experience on fundamentals. Go ahead, try it out. It's right on YouTube right now, actually. And I'm going to be also incorporating some more movement breaks, some more play alongs throughout the summer. So make sure you are following along with us there. I hope that this was helpful. I hope that those of you who are already planning for the school year, that this is something that'll work well for you. And I hope to the person who procrastinated on their first week of lessons, that this is really helpful for you as well. With that, thank you so much for sharing with me your time, and happy playing.